on Senior Citizens. And with that, let me call to order the continuing hearing of Subcommittee I of the Mother Committee on Finance here in the Senate. And we have on deck today the National Commission on Senior Citizens and a continuation of the Climate Change Commission. And last will be the Co-op Development Authority. So let's start. You can, the CDA can leave for a while, I suppose, if we carry on with the senior citizens. And I'd like our committee secretary, Beth, to call on the resource persons of the National Commission on Senior Citizens.
Good afternoon, Senators, and good afternoon, our distinguished guests. For the proposed budget, 2024 budget of the National Commission of Senior Citizens, we have Attorney Franklin Quijano, their chairperson and CEO. We have Commissioner Ida Yap Patron. We also have Commissioner Raymar Mansilungan, Commissioner Ricardo Reyner Cruz, and Commissioner Enriqueta Rodeles. That's all, Senator. One more. We have Commissioner Edwin Espejo.
Yes, is that all for the commission? Yes, thank you. Okay.
We invited DBM, but they have not yet come. We have
Is anyone here from
representatives.
DSWD
Po.
for the turnover, the issue of the transition? May DSWD dito? At walang DBM? DBM ka? Okay. May taga DSWD regarding the turnover? Dapat may DSWD. Okay, kasi hindi ka pa nagta-transition, ba't hindi mo kinumbida? Oh, let's just do what we can. Pero sigurado yan sa plenaryo, magulo.
To invite them sa plenary na.
No, you can't try. You have to.
We will.
Yeah, okay. Yes, so we invite the chairperson to very, very quickly, because we're running late. Please give us the salient points of the budget. It's the presentation's been with us for a while, so we've had the opportunity to study it, as well as cogent documents such as the COA report. Thank you. Please proceed, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Your Honor, Senator Amy Marcos, members of the committee. The National Commission of Senior Citizen in the last budget hearing had an issue over the underspending because we didn't have the back and the HRMPSB. But since last November, DSWD gave us the short list of employees. We finally had our HRMPSB and back organized last January of this year. And so we are practically moving and has the ability already to acquire our procurement requirements. We in fact have an office for the central office located
Saan po yung office?
at the AP building, Aurora Boulevard, corner Gilmore of Quezon City.
Right. The last time we heard from you, you said the transition would occur in November of 2023. You already have your own Human Resource Merit Promotion Selection Board as of January, but only 25% as of June of the entire complement has actually been hired. Why is it taking so long?
It's more than that, actually, ma'am. The regional offices are the ones we are prioritizing, knowing that the bulk.
This is end of June per submission of the LBRMO. As of today, ilan na?
As of today, it's about 37 for the regions and
Sorry, is that 37% or 37 persons?
37 persons po out of 92. 82.
Sorry.
37 out of,
So you're saying it's 82 out of 224 or a 37% update? Is that,
yes.
ba't ang bagal?
Ma'am, we are actually conducting even on Saturdays our selection for the employees. But we are moving as a commission. Kaya yung buong commission ay nandyan talaga. And right now, our plan would be by October, all the regions will be populated.
Your slide says full complement will be in December. It's
Yes,
not.
ma'am. The central,
So you're saying October, pero yung chart mo nasa December.
the central office, ma'am, will be the last to be filled up. And so it's going to
Wait,
be in
is it October or December? It doesn't matter.
December for the whole agency, ma'am.
Central or regional. I just want to
The,
have
yes,
the
ma'am.
majority number of positions will be filled when po?
December, ma'am.
So, December pa. Hindi na November. December na naman. Kasi postpone tayo ng postpone. Nagagalit na yung ating mga
Well,
senator.
ma'am, that's depended on the HRMPSB kasi. So it was only in January na
Dependent on?
the Human Resource Merit and Selection Board.
Oh, but
And-
that's already complete, diba?
Exactly. So every
Pero
month,
January pa.
yeah,
January pa, nabuo na yan, di ba?
yeah, January. So ang naging publication natin is February, nagkaroon tayo ng selection beginning March. So ngayon na po yung talagang uh, thick of the selection ginagawa natin.
Okay, and you had a meeting apparently in September with the DBM for the request of these 17 regional offices.
Yes,
Tama
ma'am.
ba?
Yes, ma'am.
So that's correct. So, the other issue with regard employees is that 52.4% of your total personnel are just contract or job order.
Well, with the selection of the new regular employees, it's not going to be 52 anymore. A lot of
So
The-
how many have you regularized out of that 52%?
well, some of them, I think some of the COS have applied and have been accepted as regular employees.
Yes, maybe have an updated report on who has been regularized.
Yeah, we'll do that, ma'am.
Sige. Okay, please proceed.
Well, so with the underspending in the past 2 years, the priority that we did was to use the funds of the first 2 years, and so we're barely touching on this year's funds available. That is why we have submitted to you our catch-up plan this time with different offices being created in the many regions of the country. We are actually we are confident that we would be able to reach the 100% spending at least by first quarter of next year.
Wait, so as per the DBM website, zero has been obligated from 2023. Is that correct? And low obligation was recorded. Diba that was the issue of 2022. Only 35.4% was actually obligated. So, nasoli yung pera at the end of December?
Some of it, ma'am, on the first year of operation, some of it were returned.
Was actually obligated as for GAA 2020. And then for 2023, is this correct? Only 18.33 was obligated for 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
Tama po ba? So let's ask the DBM in as much as they're here in any case. Can we be updated on these numbers?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Sophia Yanto Abad po from the Budget and Management
Yes.
Bureau B. We confirm that the budget utilization of the agency as of December 31, 2022 is only at 35.36%, while its disbursement rate is at 91.78%. And as of June 2023, it's around 18% obligation rate.
Yes.
Disbursement rate was somehow high at 99%.
Um, so the underspending continues to be an issue? No, it seems to be an issue. We're at the last quarter. We're already in we're coming into October, and 18.3% is a very, very low rate, as confirmed by the DBM, as submitted to the LBRMO.
Yeah.
That's arguably worse than last year.
Well,
If underspending was an issue last year, it's even a bigger issue this year.
ma'am, I would like to assure you that we have our catch-up plan,
Yeah,
and that
it's not much time to catch up.
well,
You only have one quarter po.
I think,
I
ma'am,
don't know how
all our
every-
needs have been published as well. Even our capital outlay, because of the back, we were already able to procure. And the offices that we are supposed to be having are also being procured. So our catch-up plan, we hope, would be
As the
sufficient.
mundo, procurement is a very long process. It's not going to be accomplished in the next 3 months, at which we'll be returning and reverting funds to Treasury once again po.
So August, 34%.
Uh, we would like to say that as of August, we were able to spend 34%. And we hope that by December, we'll be able to do the catch-up.
34% is not much better than last year's 35%. So I'm not feeling the catch up. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'll report to plenary. I'm certain Senator Coco Pimentel and the rest of the senators will be very skeptical, given that there's only a quarter left.
And ma'am, we're confident about it because our procurement has been moving already very quickly. Unlike the past where the procurement was only small values, right now we're able to even buy our vehicles already.
Yes, the concern is even in your catch-up plan, exactly as in your previous plan, you all bought cars for each commissioner. Is this correct?
No, ma'am. In the
Yes,
previous time, we didn't have any.
Yeah,
all.
no. Can you elaborate how you use the 2022 continuing appropriations?
Our
Because rumor has it that 6 cars were procured. Is there any truth to this?
cars were procured only this year, ma'am.
So that's why I'm seeing the biggest amount in your budget is for the procurement of vehicles.
No, not only that, ma'am.
It's the
Also,
biggest.
well,
It's
of course,
quite certainly the biggest.
of course, because this is really the startup of the agency.
Why are cars the biggest issue?
Well, ma'am, we were only allocated 31 and 16 was available for cars. The other would be for IT equipments.
You would have thought IT would be much more important, given that there's no record of senior citizens.
We believe so, ma'am, that IT is really more
But there's
important.
no IT here. I'm only seeing vehicles.
No,
Why are
ma'am.
we buying each other cars?
Ma'am, there are 8 clustered regions. In fact, there are 7 commissioners, and so
Each of these regions now have offices.
for except for 2, one is in cluster 1.
Po.
We have a problem of finding one in Baguio, and the other is in Region 9. But all the rest already have processed offices being procured.
Yeah. No, the question arises for a meager 11 million. Parang ang liit naman ng 11 million IT kesa sa 60 para sa kotse.
Actually, ma'am, we really hope that the IT would be bigger because we need
Mas malaki pa yung kotse kesa sa IT.
ma'am, ang kotse naman po, ma'am, is quite expensive from the point of view of
No,
one unit.
understood, but why is it more important? I'm going to have great difficulty defending this in the plenary, given that nobody else is buying cars at this point in time. Among the agencies, mabibilang ko sa isang kamay kung sinong bumili ng sasakyan.
Actually, ma'am,
Kayo lang.
it's cars with the IT equipments. And yeah, I mean, the IT equipments are also prioritized.
No, they're not. Ang layo po ng 60 sa 11.
Hindi naman 60 ang cars, ma'am. 16 lang naman, 16.
Hindi, 60. Please look at your previous slide.
For the catch-up plan po, ma'am, that's going to be upcoming because the,
Miski sa catch up eh. Kahit saan pa ilagay yan, hindi pa rin tama.
ma'am, the regions are being organized and we are supposed to have,
Dapat i-organize muna ninyo yung opisina kaysa sa sasakyan sa bawat isa.
hindi naman po, ma'am. Actually, all the regions have the regular employees and by October, we will have that. And so we would need utility vehicles for the region as well. Of course, we also need our IT, our servers, our computers, and all this. So, yan po yung ratio naman po yata with the IT equipment.
Is this cleared with the DBM? Okay lang to na halos lahat ng gastos nasa vehicle.
Per records, Madam Chair, we have issued authority to purchase motor vehicle equivalent to 8 units in 2022 po.
What cars are these? Just as a matter of curiosity.
Actually, ma'am, we were hoping for electric cars already so that we would be
It's really-
compliant.
That's really impractical.
No, it's cheaper, ma'am.
I know it's cheaper, but where are you going to charge and service and derive parts for all of these?
Well, we can change that with the
No,
permission of the
I don't know what the plan is. Exactly what cars are involved.
Actually,
So
utility
we can get
vehicles,
an
ma'am.
understanding of the use of these highly important cars.
Utility vehicles for the regions, ma'am. So if we have,
Utility vehicles are not EVs po.
ano?
Your catch-up plan says vehicles, and you still have no clue what kind of vehicles we're going to.
Well,
procure.
the term used is MPV, ma'am. Multi-purpose
It means
vehicles.
anything po. MPV means nothing to me po. Sorry. I'm clueless. No, I think the problem is you have very heavy headwinds in the plenary, and I suspect that you need to defend yourself a little better. You'll be putting me in the spot. We'll probably be the last agency passed once again with great difficulty. Hirap na hirap ako last year. Katakot-takot na pakiusapan. Kung ilalabas ko to, talagang hindi to lulusot. Miski ako, papakap ako, hindi ko kayang ipagtanggol. Puro sasakyan. Wala nga kayong listahan ng senior citizens eh. Ba't naman nauwi sa sasakyan? Di ba dapat sa data gathering yan?
Tama po yan, ma'am.
Oo. Anong gagawin natin? Hindi ko kaya pagtanggol to eh. Engagement plan between you and DSWD.
Yes,
Meron daw?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what does it look like? I hope it doesn't look like the catch-up plan.
Well, in June 29, 2022, we had a memorandum of agreement with the SWD, and the engagement plan takes the MOA as a starting point. Together with that, of course, are the filling up.
Kaya nga, but that said November ang turnover. Mukhang walang mangyayari nito.
Ma'am, what we were saying was we will be prepared by December. So if there's going to be turnovers.
It's not the understanding of anyone in the Senate. Our understanding was that the turnover would be in November.
Actually, we will be happy if there is a turnover on November, ma'am, because
You can't turn over, you don't have people.
no, I think by November, ma'am, we'll be starting to fill up the central office
No,
already.
as we speak, and November's around the corner, you only have 37% hired, no? Or 25 more correctly. Paano kaya to?
Ma'am, in the month of October, the commission will be moving around 4 regions, just so we'll be able to fill up. And then by November and December, we'll be concentrated in Metro Manila for the central office.
So when will the turnover occur? Since now you're saying
Oh.
it's mere engagement and readiness and so on. When is the actual transfer going to occur?
Ma'am, by October, end of October, we'll already be writing DSWD of our status and our preparedness.
How are you going to do that? Considering your hiring and your expenditure is so meager. We want you to succeed, but at the rate it's going, it's just too slow.
Actually, ma'am, we have even programmed the many consultations and preparations. For instance, in the last time, the committee has provided us for
Yes, it's late
second.
in the day for consultation. It's time for action po. Okay. As of December 31, 2022, COA found semi-expendable properties overstated due to non-recording of its issuances. Understated expendable, semi-expendable property expenses, gaps in the preparation of reports, non-preparation of inventory custodian slips, absence of lapsing schedule. What steps has the NCSC taken to address these COA audit findings?
Ma'am, we have submitted our explanation with COA. In fact,
Yes, but I'm not privy to that. Can you tell us if COA has accepted your explanation? Is there COA here? Beth, wala na namang COA. May COA po. Sino nandito taga COA? Sino yung taga COA? Yes? Sino po ang taga COA? May taga COA rito? Aware kayo sa response nila sa audit findings? Please take a seat. Upo naman. Ikaw ba? May kinalaman ka ba sa kuan? Anana? Can you sit down please and put this on record? Boss, dyan na. Dyan ka na. Dyan ka na for the meantime. Di kita makita, pasensya. Mahina mata ko. Okay. Ang daming COA findings. Sabi nila, sinagot na daw nila, katanggap-tanggap ba yung kanilang sagot? Sorry? I have no idea. Can you translate? They submitted what? When did they submit?
Last week lang, ma'am, and then we are just
Why so late? Yeah.
yes, they are
So
already
action plan was submitted what date?
September 19, ma'am.
September 19. So
Yes.
late.
Yes, it's beyond the 60-day period that we require in our
Is
report.
that the deadline?
Yes, sir.
September ba
It
talaga?
should be 60 days after the issuance of the annual audit report. So the RR was transmitted on when was that? June?
So until now, you have no determination whether the action plan is acceptable or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So no steps have been taken for all the semi-expendable properties that are overstated in value?
They have submitted, and then we are trying to evaluate it, and then we have not received the supporting documents in response to this report, ma'am.
Okay, how are we gonna answer this, Chairman?
well, ma'am,
No
we have
supporting
actually
documents. I think we're gonna have trouble with that.
we have actually complied, ma'am, and we would like the
Wala daw supporting documents. Kasasabi lang po.
important documents in there. So GSP. Ma'am, just an additional information. In the previous year, we have received more than 20 computers, one from PMS, the other from the Philippines Sports Commission, simply because we didn't have the back. So this was one of the things we were actually reporting as well. Na may mga
Yes, I recall that you had not constituted your back, so therefore, since there
Yeah,
was no back,
so the procurement were small value procurement. That is why the report here indicates small value procurement, and our action plan says we have submitted, subject of course to the verification of COA. There the big procurement this time is already available because we have the back only in January of this year.
Okay. I don't know what it has to do with the fact that your action plan has no accompanying documents, but fine. We were on the topic of your action plan submitted to COA given their audit findings. And COA is now telling us that you have in fact not submitted any accompanying documents to the said action plan. Paano tayo gagawa ng decision yan? Di tayo makakapag-report, walang dokumento eh.
The catch-up plan has accompanying plans and programs.
This isn't a catch-up plan po. This is the COA audit report. Iba yung pinag-uusapan natin. We've moved to another topic. I'm sorry.
Dili, sir, sa atong
Diretso na.
You submitted an action plan. Not a catch-up plan. Kanina pa yon. Ito, action plan na po. Tungkol sa COA.
Sir, ma'am, the thing that we need to prepare is our SPI. So I think that is being done right
Yeah.
now.
Walang RSPI, walang SPC, walang RPCSP, walang inventory custodian slips. Maraming wala eh. There's 55 items missing, absence of lapsing schedule, no application controls, on and on and on. As you said, it may have something to do with the fact that you had no back, but this is audit. This is
Yes, ma'am.
a whole other topic.
Well, even our personnel are lacking because we are barely beginning and we don't have regular employees that much. That's why really this is a catch-up, ma'am.
Look, but we're not talking about the catch-up plan anymore. It's the action plan for the
Yes,
COA
ma'am.
audit findings.
Like we said, our GSD has just been organized. Our
No, you were the one who said so. I have no idea.
yeah, ma'am.
Oh.
That's why our general services has just been organized, and we lack personnel for this GSD.
This has to
For
do
the
with
record.
accounting. It has nothing to do with your general services.
It
You're
includes
confusing me po.
it includes, ma'am, because there should be the need for the recording of property and equipments.
Okay, so what are we going to do? Pwede bang mag-usap kayo ng COA? Hindi ko mapapasa sa plenaryo to. Kasi napakagulo eh. O meron pa rito cash advances while we're on the topic of COA. Cash advances to the disbursing officer despite unliquidated cash advances already. Has this issue been addressed with COA? Clearly, hindi kayo nag-uusap.
From what we know, ma'am, the cash advances were liquidated, except perhaps
No,
for
they're not.
the
They're
latest.
not. It's still outstanding per your record with COA, di ba po? Andito eh. Nag-release ng cash advance despite unliquidated cash advance. So, it's already beyond, your unliquidated cash advances are beyond the prescriptive period for its liquidation. So, they can never more be liquidated.
Ma'am,
So, this poses the risk of theft and misappropriation.
ma'am, from
These
our
are very serious allegations, regardless of the amount.
ma'am, subject to the co-observations, ma'am, I think we have submitted our liquidation, and we actually our practice is there shall be no.
That were the case, but can we hear from COA? Mali ba yung report na sinabmit ninyo sa LBRMO? O tama? Yung unliquidated cash advances, tapos nag-prescribe na yung dati, tapos nag-umpisa na naman ng another set of unliquidated cash advances. May I hear from you, please?
Ma'am, the cash advances pertains to the 2022 transactions. So upon checking with the agency action plan and status of implementation of the agency, it seems that the unliquidated cash advance has already been liquidated as of this period.
No, there are two sets of cash advances that are unliquidated per the report. And one is the old unliquidated cash advances of 2.8 plus. And then this has already prescribed beyond its liquidation period in violation of Section 89 PD 1445. So the allegation is already of theft and misappropriation. Kasi sa sobrang tagal na hindi pinaliwanag. Is that correct? Mahirapan tayo sa plenaryo. Can I have answers, please? Tulungan naman ninyo ako.
Ma'am,
Ah.
per our record, ma'am, na-liquidate na po yan.
Yeah, but it's important to get the COA's information, please.
This amount, ma'am, was determined during the cash exam last year. And then for the record also, it was already liquidated, ma'am.
Both amounts, the 2.1, the 2.8. Hindi, magulo kasi kwenta nila eh. Dati, ganun. Dati may unliquidated na last year. Tapos nag-unliquidated na naman all over again. So, alin ba talaga ang liquidate at alin ang hindi?
As of ma'am, December 31, 2020, the balance of the payroll that was the issue in the AOM was already zero. So it was already liquidated.
Both?
Yes.
Dalawa to eh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, can I have an update on this? If the chairman's correct, can I have an update? Kasi
Yes, ma'am.
yung sinubmit nung July, ang sinubmit kasi sa LBRMO, it's not liquidated yet. Both sums. I mean, I'd be happier if they were liquidated. Just let me know. Can I have an updated report from COA and perhaps from the auditor of the commission?
Yeah.
Pakisagot na lang yan. At saka itong semi-expendable. Kasi nag-submit daw sila ng action plan. Tinanggap ba o hindi?
Yes, ma'am.
Clearly, hindi tinanggap eh. Kasi inadequate yung documentation attached, di ba?
Upon submission of the action plan of the agency, our process is to evaluate this as well. If they say that it is fully implemented, then on our end, we have also to evaluate it whether it was fully implemented or not. So,
Sabi mo lang na kulang ang papel.
yes, ma'am. Since it was submitted late last September 19, so we are.
Yung submission September 19, sabi mo kanina, nag-submit ng action plan pero no accompanying document.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's true.
So therefore, nag-aantay pa rin kayo ng accompanying document.
Yes, ma'am. We are waiting for that.
You can determine.
We cannot still determine if it is fully implemented or not.
All right. So it's still under evaluation sa madaling sabi. Can you please sort that out with the COA? Kasi they're waiting for your documents eh.
Ma'am,
And then the AOM, can I get an update please? Kasi update on the cash advance AOM, please. Para alam ko kung anong ire-report. Kasi carry over na yan from last year eh. Hindi ko na alam kung aling amount ang talagang na-liquidate, alin yung hindi. Dalawa kasing sums ang nakasulat dito eh.
2.1 at 2.4.
Okay. So you'll just update me please, ASAP, like in the next 20 minutes. Kahit-
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Certainly.
Sure ka? Okay. All right. For the COA report, from June to December 2022, with regard to the COS and job orders, the services performed differ from the expected deliverables of contract. So that the functions are being performed by existing regular employees, COA DBM. Exactly how did the commission address this issue? It's a total of 4.185 million with regard to the COS and the JO.
actually, ma'am, we don't have any GO, only COS. And our
Don't have.
job order employees, we have COS only.
Okay, so
Contract of
no job
services.
orders. Oh, yung COS,
Yeah.
there's a COA finding that the services performed were different from the expected deliverables under contract.
Ma'am, we would like to say that the terms of reference as we make the contract of services tend to be broad and in the month-to-month performance.
It's not me who determines this. You'll have to talk to DBM and COA. They're the ones who made this observation.
Yes, ma'am. We'll do that.
Ano yung ngayon ng status nito? Daming COA findings eh. Yung tungkol sa COS. Tama ba itong binabasa ko lang naman to eh. Napansin ko lang sa report ng COA. na hindi tumutugma yung COS? You have to help me eh. Masyadong magulo yung libro ninyo. Po.
Apologies, ma'am. We are just trying to
Pero tama
the
ba?
record.
May issue sa COS, di ba?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, there are. So, yung ibig question ni ma'am.
It's a violation of the COA DBM Joint Circular 2 Series 2020.
Ito yan. Ayan.
Or so the COA report says. Tama ba?
Is this the observations regarding the actual accomplishment, ma'am, and then the
Tama. Oo, that's correct.
yes. So as per AOM, ma'am, yes.
The chairman is saying that the COS contracts are written very broadly, but they cannot be so broad as to be vague and inordinate. So, paano ba?
Yes, during the audit, ma'am, as we evaluate the contract of this COS, it was determined that, and then the actual accomplishment of this particular personnel. So we found out during the audit that it did not match this in response to their contract as agreed compared to the actual deliverables of this particular COS.
Is from the commission. Yung
Ma'am-
trabaho yatang ginampanan, wala namang kinalaman sa kontrata.
Ma'am,
Ba't nagkaganon?
just to, this is the action taken, ma'am.
Sino ba yan? Let's be more specific. Sino ba yan na kinuha ng komisyon tapos iba naman ang trabahong pinagawa?
Ma'am, remember, hindi pa po puno yung regular employees. And so what we did was through a commission resolution,
Okay.
we hired new employees to fill the gaps of the unfilled regular positions. Kaya may kinukuha kami for instance, sa information na magaling pala sa recording. So dinadala namin sa ibang trabaho. So yan po yung isa sa mga explanation. We also would like to say that dahil multitasking ang gawa natin being a new agency, we have brought them into many other fields that we
And
feel they should
That's
do.
fine if it's supplementary work, augmentation of the regular work, if it's over and above in addition to what they were hired for. But it appears that it had nothing to do with what they were originally hired for.
Ma'am, the explanation is really that since we are a new agency, they're being brought.
No, I don't think so. You still hire an accountant. You'll hire them for accounting, and from time to time, they'll probably help with budget and other finance issues. But you're not going to take an accountant and tell him to suddenly become your legal officer.
Well, ma'am,
Parang yun ang naintindihan ko. Kung over and above, talagang ganyan pag nag-umpisa.
yes.
Pero nakakapagtaka naman, yung ginawa, wala daw kinalaman dun sa original contract.
We would like to beg to differ on that, ma'am, because
Well, you can't. It's in the audit report. That's what COA says. And unless you're able to prove otherwise to COA, we abide by COA's finding.
well, ma'am, because they are subjected to the contract, ma'am. It's so difficult to be changing the deliverables doon sa terms of the
Well, you're not
agreement.
supposed to change them at all, di ba?
Yeah.
Sa gobyerno, di naman
Kaya-
tayo pinapayagan ng ganyan. Bawal yan eh.
Kaya nadadagdagan sila ng trabaho po, ma'am.
Madadagdagan is okay po. Talagang ganyan sa gobyerno. Wala nga tayong overtime. Parating lang tayo nadadagdagan. Ganyan talaga. Kaya lang, yung pangunahing kontrata, nangingibabaw pa rin. Dadagdagan nga lang. Pero hindi naman papaltan.
Yeah, ma'am, I think we need to explain this to COA as well.
Well, you have to explain it to me also because I'm not prepared at this point to endorse your budget. Hindi ko kaya ipagtanggol. Okay, maybe COA and DBM can sift through this and help us, and as well as the commission, so that we can go through this. The budget's not humongous, and yet we have so much trouble with it. In any case, the commission was created in 2019, and very briefly, are there any accomplishments that I can actually report out?
Aside from making the IRR, even with a small number, we have not reached majority yet, but we prepared the IRR. In 2021, finally the IRR was published, and on December of 2021, we were granted 224 positions by DBM. We had our 4 strategic planning sessions. We also have gone around the country with our commissioners taking charge of the different geographic
What's
regions.
the status of the turnover of the social pension distribution from the SWD?
Well, ma'am, one of the observation of the SWD is we might have difficulty if we have only 8 clustered regions and they have 17 administrative regions.
Well, in theory, hindi nakasama yung BARM, di ba?
Yeah, so 16, ma'am.
Kaya nga, so
Ah.
if you're not going to be able to cover with 8 regions only,
Actually, ma'am,
what's the remedy?
well, we were hoping to convince DBM, ma'am, for the 16 administrative region, knowing that, for instance, clustered region 1,
Given your exceedingly slow rate of hiring, expanding further would only make progress even slower.
ma'am, from record, we have, since the creation of HRMPSB, we have been selecting regional offices already. And in fact, for this month, we have, the other day, we had the Region 4A, 4B, and 5. This is the clustered region for Southern Luzon. So three administrative regions into one. And we will have by
Are you
October.
sure? Even the clustering sounds mistaken. Region 4A is the largest region in the country. It's double of many regions I know of. Bakit siya ika-cluster sa iba? Napakalaki niya. Kakatakot naman yan.
Ma'am,
Malaki siya sa NCR.
we're actually hoping we'll be able to convince DBM for
I don't think you will.
administrative region, ma'am.
I don't think you will because ang bagal-bagal nga ninyo mag-implement eh.
Ma'am,
Papatagtag pa tayo.
the clustered region was suggested by DBM,
No.
and we had to comply by that clustered
Seems
region.
reckless. 4A is so massive.
Well, actually, it should have been part of NCR, but
No, hindi, mas lalo
exactly,
hindi mo
ma'am.
pwede yun. Yung 4A at NCR, yung dalawang pinakamalalaki, nabuhat
Yes,
ng
ma'am.
region yan, ipagkakaisa, mas lalong magpapakamatay ang cluster na yan.
Ma'am, but we're operating based on our commissioners available, ma'am. There are 2 commissioners for Luzon. So 1 commissioner is assigned for the north. And the clustered region is, you cannot imagine it, 4 regions po, administrative region. Region 1, Region 2, Region 3, and CAR. Ang laki-laki po ng clustered region na yan. So it's not about the population this time, it's about the area. And then we have NCR, and then we have
It's the
4A.
population also.
Yeah.
You're talking about the northern regions that have life expectancy, longevity for
Yes, ma'am.
upwards of 6 to 7 years longer
Yes,
than
ma'am.
any other Filipino.
Tama po.
So,
And then,
yung constituency po ninyo, malaki siya kahit maliit ang populasyon.
yeah, that's why we were hoping, ma'am, that our regions will really be based on the administrative region more than the clustered. In the case, for instance, of Visayas,
Clustered pa nga, hindi natin na-i-implement. Paano pa tayo magpapadagdag?
ma'am, may
Hindi
NCR na po, na-implement na po natin ang NCR at saka ang 4A, 4B, and 5. But just the same, we have to reckon to the clustered.
Okay, I have many other agencies to go through. Can you tell me the status of the listings that we have requested time again from the commission of our senior citizens. Wala pa ring maayos na listahan. Nung narito kayo last time, inaasahan lang po ninyo yung 600,000 mahigit kumulang na nakalista sa PhilHealth, sa DOH. Napakakonti nun kung tutuusin. Kasi ang pagkaalam natin sa PSA, di hamak na mas marami ang senior citizens kesa sa 600,000. So, ang pinaka-importante ninyong trabaho sa pagkaintindi namin yung listahan, yung pag-identify ng senior citizen. Nalista na ba yan?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. Yung online registration natin, ma'am, has reached 3 million. And we
Yung
are,
online registration,
yes, ma'am.
that's self-registered.
Yes, ma'am.
Pero you have not undertaken any activities to go out and look for them?
We do, ma'am. In fact, those who don't have the
Are they
capacity.
verified, the online registered?
Well,
The
since
online registered seniors, naka-verify na kayo na, bisita na ba yan? O
Ah.
at least naka-checkbox sa LGU or sa MSWD?
we have some ways of verifying, including the submissions from OSCA. Some of the LGUs actually have not been cooperating. We cannot mention the name, ma'am, but they say it's our list and we want you to do your own. So that's why the online registration, which is a source of primary data to us, is more reliable. Of course, when the,
So right now you have a mere 3 million.
yes, and the target is by December,
The-
8 million.
That's barely a quarter of the estimate of PSA, di ba? Ang PSA estimate is what? 8? Is around,
2020, ma'am, is 9.2 million.
kaya nga. Oh.
Opo. So that is already one third, but we are moving towards more by.
9.2 lang? Parang I've seen bigger numbers before.
Actually, ma'am, our estimate is bigger because we have to take the projection from 2020 to 2023. So our number is about 11 million.
Yes,
And
that's
we
what
are
I have seen.
getting the support coming from the LGU. A lot of them are actually helping in the registration, but there are those who are a bit hesitant in helping.
But what about the social pension?
Well, the social pension, ma'am, we have made preparations already.
No, but the social pension is being distributed according to the 3 million online registered seniors or according to which list?
Ma'am, it's still the DSWD doing the distribution. We are making,
DSWD, to the best of your knowledge, is using what list po?
well, they have their listahanan, ma'am, which they're using.
You're
as
saying
basis.
listahanan 3 has more registrants than you do?
Yeah, but they have not turned over the data as well to us. So this may increase if they turn over the data to us. And of course,
Why have they not turned over? You already said that you have an engagement plan and so on, and that you met as of September, you had a meeting in August. All these endless meetings have not resulted in a single database?
I'm sorry, ma'am. I think we need to ask our negotiating team to really ask them to speed up. But one of the reservations that they make is since this involves data, there has to be a special MOA for this because this involves data privacy. But that's the reason why
But
we,
you already have a MOA.
this
You have
is,
a transition MOA, di ba? Covered na yan.
this is the MOA, special MOA they're referring, ma'am, na bukod sa MOA, may sub-MOA pa talaga for the data transfer.
Di ba dapat nauna yan? Wala naman tayong trabaho kapag walang listahan.
Well, unfortunately, ma'am, it's the DSWD's task to turn it over to us. So medyo kailangan
Your-
talaga kumbinsihan.
Your assertion is that the DSWD to date has refused to turn over listahanan 3 senior citizen data on account of data privacy.
Hindi naman po refused.
Correct?
Hindi naman po refused, but they were
Kung hindi refused, ano yun?
asking that a special discussion be made on this because this involves data privacy.
Ba't hindi pinag-usapan para natapos na?
Ah.
Yan lang naman ang Yan lang naman ang panggagalingan ng trabaho natin. Wala na tayong ibang trabaho kung walang listahan eh.
Tama
Sana
po, ma'am.
mauna yan.
In fact, one of the things that we advanced with the leadership of Commissioner Rainier was the determination of the uh, social pension definition, knowing that frail, sickly, with disability, and with no visible means of support has to really be established and prepared in advance. So meron po kaming ginawang consultation, including the Institute of Aging and other agencies, so that we would really know when the work comes to us, paano natin
Anong silbi
i-determine.
ng MOA ninyo? May MOA kayo. Anong silbi ng MOA na yan kung hindi kayo magkakaroon ng listahan?
Ma'am, I think we will have to discuss this together with the SWD. Paano mapadali?
Di papadali. 4 ang ililipat na programa. Kailan man hindi malilipat yan at wala naman pala kayong hawak na listahan. Okay, DBM, may we inquire from the Assistant Director in charge of the SWD? Ano nga ba yung issue dyan? Talaga bang data privacy or ano ba? Parang lahat kasi ng programa na ita-transition at ililipat sa komisyon, ang base, syempre, yung listahan ng senior citizen. Kung hindi lilipat yon, kailanman hindi na malilipat at mabubuo yung komisyon na yan.
Madam Chair, I regret that I'm not privy to that conversation, but as far as I know, there is an exception to the Data Privacy Act with regard to the exchange of data between government agencies.
Yes, that's my understanding as well. I'm really baffled by this excuse, particularly when it's a transitioning agency breaking away from the original mother agency. It's not entirely new as we understand a new creation. So I'm mystified actually.
Base lang po dun sa mga coordination meetings that we have held with them, we understand that the two agencies would want to do a parang sequential na transfer of the program starting
Ang
with the
tagal na
small
ng sequential, 2019
Yes.
yung batas, nasa
Opo.
2023 na po tayo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ilang sequence pa ba yan?
I think further revise po sila nung kanilang agreement. But again,
2021 yata may IRR na sila. Anong klaseng IRR yun? Walang listahan involved sa turnover, ano? Nakakapagtaka yan.
That should have been the case po, sana.
Yeah, actually the common sense understanding in amongst many of the senators is that it should just be a policy making body, being that implementation has been virtually impossible. So in any case, okay, so yes, that's my understanding. DBM, that in fact data sharing is commonly practiced by government agencies among themselves, particularly in the case of a new breakaway commission, which derived from an original mother department. The more so, they would be happy to turn over the list, so data privacy would not apply.
We will remind the SWD that, ma'am.
Why haven't you reminded them before? You won't be
Ma'am.
able to implement a single one of these programs.
Ma'am, as early as 2021, we called their attention on that. And at that time, of course, it was not the present dispensation talking with us. So the excuse at the time was data privacy.
I don't think a change in administration will change the work of the commission.
And I hope they will be giving the data now.
I think there are far too many questions to endorse this commission to the plenary at this juncture, or even to the mother committee. If you will help me, please, with the COA questions, update all this information, and please go back to the DSWD. This is the first and only time I have heard data privacy as the next new excuse for the failure to transit. So I'm very, very curious. Ngayon lang nabanggit yan eh. Kadami-dami na nating meeting. Ako nagtatanggol ng inyong commission. Wala pa noong 2019. Kaya nagtataka ako. First time naman na naging problema yung data privacy. Okay, so if you will, the hearing at subcommittee level for the National Commission for Senior Citizens is suspended pending the submission of data necessary and the updated findings of COA, the actions taken, DBM, and DSWD's reports on the alleged failure to share information due to data privacy and other concerns. Pwede po ba magpa-update kasi mahirapan po ito pumasa?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we suspend. Please submit it as early as possible. The last date before we go to recess is really this week. Wala na tayong oras po. That's it. Otherwise, we'll be in limbo for a good long time. Thank you. Thank you very much po. And now we'd like to hear from the Commission on the Climate Change Commission. Yes, thank you very much. So, Secretary, Committee Secretary. Yeah, Committee Secretary, since we're just continuing, do we need to recognize the resource persons, or is everyone here that needs to be here and has been previously recognized in any case?
Yes, Senator. We have the Secretary, Mr. Robert E.A. Borja, Commissioner Rachel Ann Herrera, and Commissioner Albert de la Cruz, plus the Deputy Executive Director, Mr. Romel Antonio Cuenca. For the DOF representative, we have Undersecretary Alu Dorotan Choseco. And sa DBM po, we have Ben Gillette Suniga.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, we recognize the Secretary, the Commissioners, and the others who are here. Firstly, thank you very much for your copious submissions. Marami kayong sinubmit. Maraming salamat. So, natutuwa naman ako na kahit papano, andito. Yes, we'll give time to the National Commission for Senior Citizens, please. Pasensya lang po, ayusin po ninyo yung libro ninyo at hindi ko talaga magagawa ng paraan yan. Maraming salamat po. So, okay. Yeah, you submitted lots of stuff, but yes, the People's Survival Fund Act of 2011. So, evaluate and review project proposals, formulate mechanisms, develop guidelines. With your first function, you've taken your blessed time, 5 to 6 years, to evaluate and review projects. How certain are we that the second and third functions, to formulate mechanisms and develop accreditation guidelines, will be shorter?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. While there have been issues and challenges before, under this present cohort of commissioners, Madam Chair, we have been working very closely with our colleagues from the Department of Finance, and the indications are that we are moving much quicker than before, and this is something that we take very
Can
seriously.
specific example, like sino-sino bang LGU nakatenga ngayon na pending, naka-apply? At kailan nag-apply? Paano nabilisan? Example lang. For example, sino-sino ang nag-apply?
Thank you,
And
Madam.
when did they apply?
Thank you, Madam Chair. For this year, when after the call of the PSF board, we received first initially 45, and then this was This was March of this year, ma'am. 23, yes, ma'am. And then after that, there were 45 that were endorsed to the Climate Change Commission and for the team to review. And at this point, we have been informed by the Department of Finance that 6 are already going to be considered for the next board meeting of the PSF.
Things to be considered. What does considered mean?
These 6 applications have already been assessed.
The diplomat and protocol officer, but considered is a word that does not translate easily into action. Can you tell me what it means?
These are the 6 LGU applications, Madam Chair, that will be this will be for the
Mangyayari pag na-consider?
this will be for the approval of the PSF board, Madam Chair. This is on October 8, 19.
The expectation is that in October,
There-
2 or 6 will be approved.
That's correct, Madam Chair.
It's a much shorter period, you're saying.
Yes, Madam Chair.
That's not-
Yes, Madam Chair. But of course, we would like to work on this and further improve on the process. That's why in our discussions with the Department of Finance,
Ay, natenga. Have they been rejected outright?
these
Reject, siyempre, normal lang yun. Yung iba na hindi papasama. Yung iba, kailangan ayusin pa, yung complete, gano'n. So sa 39, may hatol na ba yan?
this these will be subject for further technical assistance from the Climate Change Commission, Madam Chair.
So 39 are rejected, in short.
They have not passed that threshold, Madam Chair. Yes.
So what happens there? Kasi di ba parang may grading yan sa bawat kuwan, di ba yung iba almost there, yung iba near passable, yung iba talagang outright dismissed kasi hindi siya kuwan. Wala bang hatol dun sa 39? Mas maraming 39 kaysa sa 6
Yes, Madam Chair. And in fact, this is why it's also important for Climate Change Commission to work very closely with DOF and the PSF board to provide the project development assistance for these LGUs so that
But-
they can graduate.
My point is you should have a decision on those 39, di ba?
Yes, Madam Chair.
But there isn't.
If I may.
Yes, Yusek, please.
Madam Chair, good
Po,
afternoon.
yeah.
Yes. So the process is that we release a call for proposals, and then we have a checklist, and then some of those who pass the checklist of the DOF, we transmit it immediately to the CCC. This is one of the innovations before, ma'am, before me. We don't do parallel review.
Why
What
is
we do-
DOF involved in the review? What is your expertise in climate change?
Ma'am, I believe that before it was with the secretariat, the PSF secretariat was.
No, we're aware that Secretary Dominguez liked attending climate fora, but quite
Tec-
apart from this fondness, what is the expertise
Alright.
in the DOF with regard to climate change and the environment?
We so the climate rational review is being done by the CCC, and the DOF does the technical and cost validation review. So we do that parallel. That's one of the innovations.
Surely that's not separate and discrete. Those two pathways of technical and financial have everything to do with the climate impact. They can hardly be separate. I'm just puzzled by the need for two paths for a single result.
I believe, ma'am, that the Department of Finance and the
Ba't pa may CCC?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
Bakit pa may CCC kung gagawing ulit ng DOF yung cost? Di ko maintindihan, yun lang.
Yung climate rational, ma'am, if indeed it's an adaptation program as required by the PSF law, that's being done by the Climate Change Commission as to the
No, but-
cost validation.
My point being that cost cannot be separated from environmental impact. It's very strange to me that they're being analyzed and assessed separately. But that's just me. Perhaps it makes sense to all of you.
In fact, ma'am, those are the characteristics of the review when we
I
look at
mean, there are dozens and dozens of projects we can all do, but they're outrageously expensive and not worth the effort. So, we dismiss them outright.
ma'am,
So,
but that's
nagtataka ako, ba't pinaghiwalay? Dadalawahin pa, paulit-ulit na lang yan. Hindi na yan magkakaisa, kailanman.
Ma'am, in fact, that's one of the innovations that we are going to introduce because at the onset,
But
before
you're doing 2 tracks. That's not a useful innovation. Parang dinoble mong trabaho.
that,
Ako lang,
that- yes, ma'am. Ma'am, that's actually
Parang tatagal lalo yan.
that's the innovation in May this year. But we are further reviewing and streamlining the system. When we've already partnered with the CCC and discussed this, ma'am, and we will be introducing some innovations come October to
Can't the
further.
two of you just be put aside and the entire effort be dumped with the DENR where where the experts reside? No, just the question the senators will inevitably ask,
Yeah.
as they have. Ba't pa may she, tapos magre-review pa yung DOF? Eh di bagsak na lang yung pera at yung People's Survival Fund, di bagsak na sa DENR. Sila naman talaga ang may mandate dyan. Give me a reason for your existence.
For what we're doing. Ma'am, in fact, ma'am, we're doing the cost validation because actually for
Yeah, you've said that earlier, Yusek. I heard you.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's still weird. You have
Yeah.
3 people doing the same damn thing.
Uh,
Sorry,
If,
Secretary.
if I may, Madam Chair, we recognize that there have been challenges over the last few years. In fact, part of the challenge that we've also
Di, okay na yun.
gone.
Wala na tayong pinag-usapan dun sa nakaraan. Pero yung ngayon, parang yung gagawin ninyo, parang hindi na makakatulong yan. Doblehin pa yung trabaho.
This is why
I mean, moving forward na tayo. Di maraming
Madam Chair.
kapalpakan in the past. Fine. Okay, let's leave it there. Pero moving forward, pinagtatakaan ko kasi parang tuloy-tuloy pa rin to.
Exactly, Madam Chair. That's why we're working very closely with. We are working very closely with UF, and we will be able to work on rationalizing the process.
What documentary requirements are so complicated that the DOF has to bolt in? Kasi nandito complete documentary requirements to be transmitted by the PSF Board Secretariat to the CCC. Ano nga ba yun? What documentary requirements are you asking from the LGUs, LCOs?
Documents that we ask, Madam Chair, from the LGU. We have here the PSF application form, which is templated. We also need the letter of intent as well as reference documents. And for the
What reference documents are required?
this would be the LCCAP, Madam Chair,
What's that?
the local climate change action plan, and then also the annual investment plan from the LGUs.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes, Madam Chair.
You can't assess that on your own. You need the DOF. Tagal kong governor nagtataka lang ako dyan. Napakasimple ng requirement, but kinakailangan patignan ng DOF.
We understand your concern, Madam Chair, but perhaps
No, it's not a concern. It was my frustration. I was a governor. I applied for 9 years, never got it. I was the one and only province with renewable energy and a serious clean and green commitment from energy to traffic to health to education. We wanted to have an entire ecosystem of clean and green. We never got anything from your commission. So malalim po ang hugot ko. Hindi ko maintindihan kung sino binibigyan ninyo.
yes, Madam Chair. In fact, that is one of the biggest concerns that we have, and something that we're working on very closely with the Department of Finance to improve
What
the
does the
process.
Department of Finance have to do in measuring the commitment of an LGU to the environment? Malay nila. Tinitignan lang naman nila kwenta
That is correct, Madam Chair. But
Bakit DOF?
there's this is the with all due respect, this is the process that we were confronted with for the PSF, and this is why
That's
we're
why
calling
that's
for.
why I'm asking you, Sec, anong papel ng DOF diyan? Wala naman kayong masyadong alam tungkol sa mga LGU. Ang alam lang ninyo yung libro. Wala rin naman kayong expertise sa environment. Bakit kayo nagtitimbang ng mga project? Pinagtatakahan ko lang.
All right, ma'am. One of the key things that we are looking at is the ability of the local government units to fully implement it. We look at the
How do you measure that as DOF?
ma'am, one of which is we
Tax
actually,
collection powers lang naman ang nakikita dyan eh.
ma'am, actually,
Paano mo malalaman kung meron o hindi capability to do so?
ma'am, one of the things that we look at is actually, ma'am, because in every
Hindi ko talaga
project,
maintindihan ang papel ng DOF, sorry.
opo,
What is one of the things you look at?
um,
Nagmamadali po
ma'am,
ako,
for instance, ma'am,
malapit na
kapag-
yung session.
in short, ma'am, capacity, ma'am, because before we sign with the local government, we have to ensure that the local government will be able
Bakit
to,
utang ba to?
hindi po, ma'am, pero
Hindi nga utang eh.
we ask
Bakit may
for
capacity to
insurance
pay?
also. Ma'am,
Para
kasi,
kayong bangko?
ma'am, we also require for insurance just in case
To?
one of the insurance, the capacity, ma'am, once it gets
Capacity to
destroyed,
do what? Capacity to implement?
the capacity to implement fully, and may support din po kasi may support na hinihingi rin po, hindi 100% na for, yes, a counterpart from the local government capacity to fully
100%
support.
of what? Of the funds?
Opo, ma'am.
From the local government?
Opo.
The LGU has to counterpart with 100%.
May counterpart. It really depends on the memorandum of agreement between the parties, but of course they have to be
Alam mo,
fully
when I was
committed.
reading this, parang naintindihan ko. Parang okay na yung sagot. Ngayon pinaliwanag ninyo, wala na akong naintindihan kahit isa. Sorry. Yeah.
Like for instance,
So for
lagi may-
example, you have this 100-year-old project with Siargao or Surigao. So how much did they pay, for example, versus the People's Survival Fund?
I'm gonna submit, ma'am, the counterpart amount, but as of now, ma'am, for the Siargao, the
I know what the amounts that were given kasi
Yes.
they keep giving it year on year eh. Kahit nakapikit ako at wala akong binabasa, mare-recite ko yan eh. Hindi. Tinatanong ko lang, ano yung counterpart doon tinitimbang ng DOF? Nalilito ako. Pagkaalam ko, wala eh. Yes, Commissioner Rachel, you're
Yes.
probably the institutional memory.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Ma'am, for the Del Carmen project, what we know is there are no cash co-financing, but our team is checking on this. But what they have committed is the
No mention of what Yusek Juseco mentioned. There is no mention of a counterpart fund from any LGU, from any of these papers or reports submitted. Marirecite ko yan, sabi ko sa iyo.
Mostly, ma'am, it's
Hindi naman
personal
tayo ganun
po.
kahina.
Opo.
Ika-4 na beses na ninyo. Memorize ko na yun eh. Ni minsan may counterpart. Kaya bigla ako natataranta kay Yusek Chuseco. Titimbangin daw nila yung capacity to provide the counterpart fund. Anong counterpart fund? First time ko marinig yan.
I believe, ma'am, what was communicated to me is that the ability of the local government to help implement it in times of
Implement is entirely different from paying up 100% counterpart. Ano yun? Kapatid, linilito mo ako. Malapit na kami mag-session. Isususpend ko na naman to. Akala ko papasa na tayo rito eh. Yeah. Walang counterpart fund ng LGU. Ask Commissioner Rachel. 4 na taon na kami nagbubunuan dito. Saan yung counterpart? Anong papel ng DOF?
in kind, for instance, ma'am, to man. Yes, if you have
Oo naman, I know what implement means.
Yes,
Day.
ma'am.
Pero yung sabi mo, counterpart fund. Wala pong
counterpart assistance or support. Not necessarily in amount of money.
Di ba
but in support.
DILG ang mag-determine ng capacity of LGU? Bakit DOF? Pakialam ng DOF sa capacity ng LGU mag-implement. Malay nila.
Because, ma'am, most of the time when we release a
Capacity to
disperse,
implement, DOF. Hindi ba DILG yan?
Because ma'am, when we release it has to be on milestone basis. We cannot be releasing the whole fund in whole 100%. So that's why we
Okay. O siya. Paliwanag na lang po, hindi ko talaga naintindihan kung ano yung papel ng DOF.
Ma'am, if you may allow me
Actually,
to add to
papel
the.
ng DOF dati. Then
Yes.
Secretary Dominguez decided he was going to go to some climate conference or other in wherever that was. I can't remember, 2, 3 years ago. I think it was the year and a half close to the end of President Duterte's term. He decided he'll be the one to represent the Philippines, and suddenly it got shifted to DOF. Yun ang nabasa ko sa dyaryo. Pero in truth and in fact, walang papel ang DOF. Correct or not? Am I being evil?
Ma'am, the role of DOF was, as we understood it in the board decision, is to ensure that the project is feasible in the sense that, opo, yung pera po ay magagastos ng maayos. Opo. Ma'am, in fact, the money for all intents could be downloaded at the same time, but there is that
Precisely.
policy to download only in tranches.
Hindi, kasi
Kaya,
the one with the best capacity to determine the capacity of an LGU, syempre, yung boss ng LGU, DILG, di ba? Dapat ang DILG. Mali naman ang DOF. Looks good on paper, pero pag pumunta ka dun sa LGU, wala naman palang tao dun, wala namang environmental, wala namang engineering, wala namang maski ano. Mali ng DOF. Kaya nga yung mga programa ng DOF, yung mga BLG, o BSGF, kaya nga walang kumukuhang LGU na yan kasi napaka-lousy eh. Lit-lit ng halaga, tapos ang tagal-tagal mag-apply. Alam mo yun? Mahina talagang DOF sa LGU, notoriously so. Po.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner De La Cruz po.
Yes, ma'am. What happened is before, under the law, I mean, the PSF Secretariat is lodged with the CCC. But previously, it was transferred via a board resolution from the CCC
Yeah.
to the Bureau of Treasury via DOF. That's why
Kaya
they
nga eh.
they were given a big
Tama.
role on it.
Exactly.
And we were as if lessen the necessary power
Tama.
to figure out on what to do. That is that's what's happening, madam.
Yun na, tama. Exactly as I recall it. And my concern is that magulo na nga ang operasyon dati ng DCC, mas lalong gugulo pa kasi dinagdagan pa ng DOF na sa pakiwari ko, wala namang alam tungkol sa kapasidad ng isang LGU mag-implement o hindi. With all due respect, DOF is very good at lots and lots of things, but I think assessing LGU's capacity to implement is not one of them. Anyway, I'm confused.
Yes, madam. With that, perhaps the board, based on your question, what innovations we should do, the board should transfer again the
Simplify the thing, right?
in order for us to
An
do
effort
everything.
simplify,
Yes, ma'am.
instead of which we
Yes.
have a parallel technical financial versus an environmental
Exactly.
scientific pathway. Parang ang gulo.
Para wala na pong pasahan, mabilis na.
O, kaya nga eh, imbis na bibilis to ba, bagal to ng todo-todo.
Madam Chair,
Anyway,
if I may, I think this is really the direction that we're going
no,
based on.
but you've just given me this whole thing that DOF is kasali.
if I may be given just a minute to say, actually, ma'am, we recognize that bottleneck. That's why we are already implementing streamline. So we will be at the onset, ma'am, we work
So you can streamline DOF away?
No, ma'am, here's the thing. We do recognize that the identification or validation of what climate adaptation projects should be lodged with the Climate Change Commission. And then once it's already identified as such, we will immediately download the money. So our role really is to download the money and to ensure that we are rationalizing the use of the money. So that's very at the heart of the mandate of the DOF. Just in
Okay
cases
lang,
that-
parang DBM lang yan. Check lang ninyo kung viable, non-viable. Pero nakakatawa naman kasi may parallel path. Iba yun eh. Iba yun sa pagre-release ng pera eh, di ba?
Mhm.
Iba yung sinabi mo, tapos may counterpart fund pa, tapos may capacity pa.
Yeah.
Hindi naman, parang nakisawsaw na yung DOF sa lahat ng
That's why
ginagawa nila.
that's why in fact, ma'am, we do
Nalilito ako
recognize
sa
that.
iyo,
No.
Yusek, ikaw ang nanggulo ng usapan.
No, ma'am, in fact,
Lusot na to eh.
that's what we're fixing now, ma'am. And if you can ask Secretary Borge, we are really delineating the function clearly of the OF in this case because
Sorry, I
magulo
got
in the details.
even more confused. Okay. In any case, has this been included in the Manual of Operations? Is it now embedded in your rules? Kasi litong-lito kami dito. Is there a huge increase in the LGUs applying? 45 sa lahat, di ba? Malaki na yun, di ba? Compared sa dati na wala naman pumapasok.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Also, did you have any hand in the distribution of the climate change budget under the president's budget message? Still cannot understand why it's DPWH, DOTR, DA, and GOCC. Certainly, we are aware that they are the biggest culprits. How come they got the biggest chunk of the funds? Basta flood control forever na lang ang public works, yung ba yun?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The role of the CCC and the
I have
climate
10
change.
minutes, I'm sorry.
In this-
I still have one agency to go.
The role of CCC in the climate change expenditure tagging is really to check the climate rationale again of these projects that have been identified.
No, understood. You're supposed to give quality assurance to these agencies. So, kayo ang nag-approve nitong DPWH, DOTR, DA, and GOCCs. Walang DENR? Hindi, pero kulelat yung DNR. Nasa tail end with a very, very, very small budget.
Yes,
When
Madam
in fact,
Chair.
sila ang in charge ng DENR. In fact, sila yung may mining, sila yung may ECC. At ganun.
Yes, Madam Chair. I think this is
So
one
lahat
of
ng
the.
budget na binilang natin for climate change is all flood control under public works.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Kayo bang pumili nito o napag-utusan lang kayo bumili ng suka?
Napag-utusan po kami to.
So nag-rubber stamp lang kayo?
No,
Of
Madam
already
Chair.
extant budget items. That's how it looks. Walang pagbabago dyan. It looks really like yung malalaking items, which there are very large items clearly in flood control in public works. I mean, quite apart from the fact that I'm being annoyingly facetious, nandyan na yan, talagang malaki yung flood control na yan. Bilyones talaga yan. So, para lumaki yung climate change budget, in-include na lang. Pero funny looking kasi.
Yes, Madam Chair. I think, and this is why the direction of the Climate Change Commission right now, Madam Chair, is to really understand the impact of these particular climate change tag project.
No, that's not what we're asking. I'm asking what was your participation in the climate change allotments contained in the president's budget message. There's no impact involved. Hindi pa nangyayari eh.
The agencies, Madam Chair, submit the climate change
No, I
budget
understand, pero
proposals to
in-approve
CCC.
ninyo yung ganito, nag-rubber stamp lang kayo na okay to.
No, we evaluate,
So
Madam
lahat ng
Chair.
flood control na yan, na nasa public works, aprobado ninyo. Sang-ayon kayo riyan. Pananagutan ninyo yan. From Bulacan to Pampanga to Nueva Ecija to Cavite, NCR, mabigat-bigat yan.
I think, Madam Chair, this is why we're working very closely with DBM and COA to close the loop and try to really make sure that these projects do follow the NCCAP and the National Climate Change Action Plan, and
No.
to make sure that these respond to the needs of the
No, but
community,
in
Madam
the
Chair.
authorship, in the writing of it, you keep talking about assessing. Wala ba eh? Kasi you identified as one of the roles of the CCC is the distribution of climate change funds.
We don't distribute the climate change,
You
Madam Chair.
identify
Yes,
the
Madam Chair.
distribution. So, pananagutan ninyo na nag-identify kayo ng kapalpakan ng flood control ng public works?
We identify, Madam Chair, that these are proposals that have the climate change.
You really, really did? Parang hindi. Kakatakot akuin yan. Maraming patay yan.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Maraming sira, milyon-milyon, bilyon-bilyon ng bukid ang wasak. Pananagutan ninyo lahat yan? Sure ka? I don't know. Okay, you have had 20 foreign travels. What, aside from good PR, have we achieved? For the benefit of the public, what are the top 3 benefits so far?
Madam Chair, for foreign travels, these
One concrete example of how a trip abroad has actually resulted, not in pledges, not in promises, not in enhanced reputation and PR, but more importantly, in actual concrete benefits for the Filipino people.
Madam Chair, the travels of the Climate Change Commission includes the regular subsidiary body meetings of the UNFCCC, as well as the
Di bale na yun, di bale na yun. Concrete impact on the lives of the Filipinos. Hindi, kasi ang parating lista ninyo, workshop, negotiation, or ministerial. Laging ganun ang biyahe.
yes,
Pwede
Madam
ba
Chair.
i-translate yan sa pangkaraniwang Tagalog na naintindihan namin?
Yes, po, Madam Chair. We will be able to translate that. I think
Such as, anong benefit?
for our
We have some concrete benefits.
Madam Chair, the
Did we get money from it?
for capacity building, particularly for greenhouse gas inventory.
Capacities.
The
Kayo lang
capacity
naman
of the Climate Change Commission, Madam Chair, and then we undertake further capacity building for the NGAs or national government agencies so that they're able to deliver on their greenhouse gas inventory, Madam Chair. Of course, it's also important.
No, never mind, never mind. We're not talking about the enhancement of your capacity. We're talking about the Filipino people. Has this actually benefited anyone aside from the members and commissioners of the commission?
It has, Madam Chair. Again, if I revert to COP27 and the work that CCC does,
Yeah,
for
anyari
example, for
dun?
COP27, we were
Di ba 28
intensely
na?
involved. 28, yes, Madam
O kaya
Chair.
nga,
But
bakit
I was referring
27
to
ka pa?
COP27, where the Philippines was heavily involved in the negotiations for the inclusion of loss and damage and the creation of the loss and damage fund and funding arrangements. When it
Pero wala
comes
pa naman eh.
yes, Madam Chair, because if I may, it's
Tsaka
also
that was
part of a
led naman
process.
that was led naman by the Southern Asians, not naman us eh.
Not
It's the never mind. We all watched and we all read the transcript, diba? Hindi naman nag-starring ang Pilipinas dun.
but we while we did not quote unquote star, Madam Chair, we were involved in the negotiations and working very closely with the chair to ensure
The
that
reason why I insist that you should have starred is because we had 89 delegates from 13 government agencies.
Madam Chair, I think that is for COP28.
COP28, yeah. Ba't
Which is-
dami?
Um,
Di ba nagtitrip? Di ba taghirap ngayon?
yes, Madam Chair. Actually, this was what
Dami.
for COP27, the number was much smaller, but under instructions from the official representative of the president, we also circulated an invitation to the different national government agencies on whether or not they would be interested in joining the COP28, again, based also on their mandates and their functions when it comes to
Why did they stay an extra week past the conference dates? The conference is 30 to 12 December, but the travel days are from 28 to 15 December, 28. So that's 18 travel days. 12 days lang naman yung conference.
let me double check on that,
No,
Madam
I'm certain. I've got it on record. But may extra week.
Let me double check on that, Madam Chair. That
I
should
guarantee you
that
it's
should not be
accurate.
that should not be
It's
counted.
accurate. I derived it from the DFA. I'm also the chairman of Foreign Relations. Okay, ano gagawin natin? Okay, sige, ano yung recommendation sa PSF? Ako'y hilong-hilo na. Akala ko lusot na to hanggang pumasok si Yusek Chuseco. At eto nga, I think we need a better explanation of the PSF and clear understanding bakit umentra sa eksena. At saka yung CAP 27 and 28, ang sinasabi lang ninyo, nakinabang yung commissioner sa capacity building. Paano naman yung taong bayan? Commissioner De La Cruz?
Yes, ma'am.
Gusto rin namin mag-capacity building sa abroad.
With regards to the direct impact as a fruit of our foreign travel, one of which is the $350 given by GGI for the recyclable plastic program now being undertaken by GGI together with DTI. Also,
Makalaki yun.
$350,000, madam.
Versus, how much have you spent from the beginning of CCT in travel?
With regards to that specific trip of the Climate Change Commission, it's a zero cost, madam.
Zero cost. But
Yes.
from the beginning, yun lang napala.
No, madam.
Yun lang ang napala natin sa dinami-dami ng biyahe.
No, madam. We have for the Taiwan trip, which is also zero.
Yung COP 27, ano ba nakuha natin? Do not quote loss and damage. We've been talking about it for decades. Bago pa kayo sa Secretary Borjem, pinag-uusapan na yung loss and damage. Hanggang ngayon, ni sentimo, wala pa nakokolekta.
Yes, Madam Chair.
So, hindi pa siya accomplishment, hindi pa siya impact. Kasi wala pa. Wala pa natatanggap.
Yes, Madam Chair, and if you allow us, we will provide the listing to you so that
Sorry,
this can be
I think
appreciated
I
even
need
more.
another breakdown on the PSF. Akala ko okay na at ang dami ninyong can we determine? Can we just revert with non-DOF exactly like Commissioner De La Cruz and Commissioner Herrera were saying? Parang mas lalong gumulo. Ewan, di ko alam.
Actually, ma'am, if I may, 30 seconds.
Gusto nila na mag-revert back eh.
That is what the law is prescribed, madam.
O kaya nga eh. Parang gumulo eh.
Thank you, ma'am.
O ewan, di ko alam. Kayo, ano ba recommendation ninyo para magawa na ng paraan to?
That is what the law prescribed, madam.
Kaya nga, ba't dinagdagan ng pahirap?
That is the dynamic before we entered the commission. We were given this kind of scenario already, and that is why we are very
So
thankful.
perhaps to give me something on the PSF. Like I said, I am very skeptical because in the 9 years that Ilocos Norte was the poster child for renewable energy, clean and green, and I don't know, NGP, magsarili kaming reforestation efforts. We never got a cent from you guys. So clearly, you are using different rubrics from those that are commonly understood. And the capacity of the DOF to assess an LGU's capability is a mystery to me. So in any case, I think I need to quickly talk to the CDA. So pwede ba, ipaliwanag lang ninyo,
Yes, Madam
what
Chair.
bang for every buck spent for you guys traveling have
Yes,
we
Madam Chair.
benefited
Yes, Madam
from?
Chair.
And this PSF, ano ba talaga ang kinabukasan dapat niyan?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Ako, Yusef Chuseco, mas maigi yata, huwag ka na magsalita at mas lalo akong nalilito sa'yo.
Last. If I may, Madam Chair. Ma'am, last.
Yes.
Ma'am, I just wanna, in fairness to the Department of Finance, the additional six projects has been done, validated everything from March until this year. So
Yes,
that's
that's
under,
much faster
Yes,
than
that's
anything
under
that ever
DOF.
happened. No,
That's
I
under
agree,
DOF.
yeah.
So-
But, so you're saying it's because of Department of Finance, kinakanal mo yung CCC, hindi
No,
mabait
no,
yun.
but what I'm trying to say, ma'am, is that through joint efforts, and we have a very open and communications now, it will be much faster. And we have a lot of reforms in line, including governance and.
Okay, just write it down. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Thank you,
we
Madam
now
Chair.
go to the
Thank you,
CDA.
Madam Chair.
Very, very briefly, asan yung bossing? Ayan, okay. Yes, Chairman. Very quickly, I don't have much time. I have all of 2 minutes. Yes, are you satisfied with the Marawi reports? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you think they're all intact? Ano na?
We-
questions, and are you convinced of the accuracy of the reports already submitted by the CDA regional offices? Kasi the last time we were together, sabi mo, malabo sa inyo.
Yes, ma'am, but with the submission to the COA, we will anchor on the findings and the assessment of the Commission on Audit, Madam Chair. But
Magulo pa rin to eh. Not a single cooperative submitted a liquidation report. You're saying you're satisfied even without liquidation? Paano yun?
Madam Chair,
Liquidate eh.
Madam Chair, for 2018, we have fully submitted to the COA.
No, I'm talking about 2022. Not a single co-op of the 32 recipients submitted. 2023, there's no list of co-op beneficiaries at all.
For 2022, Madam Chair, the region in charge and the sub office in charge, which is the Marawi Satellite Office, has continuously collect the documentary requirements in compliance to the liquidation. Since the 2022,
There's no list here of co-op beneficiaries. So I don't have time. You better show it to me. And how much are we allocating for farmer co-ops in conflict-affected areas 2024? These are my questions. Siguro you'll answer na lang. We really don't have time. Can you provide us with all the farmer co-ops in Marawi that are actually registered and recognized?
yes,
Lanao Sur, 2018 to 2023. Magulo pala ng listahan.
yes, Madam Chair, but for the report that we have forwarded to your
It's
office,
not there. I wouldn't ask if you didn't have it.
we submitted,
No,
Madam
I'm
Chair.
saying all the co-ops, not those who are recipients only, all as in all.
We fully understand, Madam Chair, and we will comply immediately.
Hindi, kasi ang sinasabi, only 32. I mean to say there are a lot of complaints, in short, in the implementation of this. So apparently there are other co-ops not receiving. There are 32 and others that have not liquidated but continue to receive. Ano ba talaga ang nangyayari?
The 2023, Madam Chair, it's an ongoing program.
But you haven't given me a list of any co-op beneficiaries. Wala sa listahan ninyo. Are they the same? Are we to assume that this is the same 32 getting help from 2018 to the present?
No, Madam Chair.
Sila lang ba ng sila?
Hindi po, magkakaiba po, Madam Chair.
Kasi walang listahan. Malay ko kung sino yung binigyan. Nagbigay ka ng listahan ng 2022. That's all I have. 32 beneficiaries, not a single one liquidated. 2023, not a single co-op listed. Paano ko huhulaan yan?
Would you like the project manager to elaborate, Madam?
No, he doesn't need to elaborate. I just need a list.
Yes, Madam Chair. And with that directive, Madam Chair, we will comply immediately, the soonest time possible.
Yeah, you submitted a letter basically telling me that you cannot possibly answer for funds that were released to you and that I should go to the Trust Fund Management Committee, DOF, DBM, DOJ, BTR. So, paano ba yan?
Well,
How will we get to the bottom of the COCO funds released to CDA?
Madam Chair, for the record, we submitted and wrote the Trust Fund Management Committee last June 23 for the request of the fund that has been reverted. But with respect to the guidelines, we are waiting, Madam Chair, for the response of this Trust Fund Committee. And I think BOTR is also here, Madam Chair.
Yeah, is DBM around? Yeah, can you answer please? Ano to, hindi kayo nag-uusap kailanman? Hindi natin malalaman kung ano nangyari dun sa perang na ilagay dyan?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. If I may, Madam Chair, the Deputy Treasurer of the Philippines, Ed Marano is here, sir.
Nasa treasury ang
Yes.
pera.
Yes, Madam
So,
Chair.
walang na-release, walang na-implement ang CDA sa COCO levy funds?
Meron po sila, Madam Chair, I believe noong 2022, 100
Ba yung 118 hindi nagagalaw, na-revert ng buong buo sa BTR. O anong nangyari? Di ba trust fund yan supposed to be continuing? Ano ba talaga?
Yes, nasa trust fund lang po siya, Madam Chair.
Revert.
Opo. And
Moving forward, ano na ngayon ang gagawin ng CDA?
yes,
Kasi
Madam Chair.
sabi, nagsulat, hindi natanggap, mali yung sulat, hilo na ako.
Okay. So, Madam Chair, if the CDA wishes to access that 118 million pesos reverted, then the committee would like to see an increase in the disbursement for 2023. Madam Chair, yung record lang po kasi as of August is 13 million. So the committee is prepared to increase the allocation for them to access.
I think I'm going to have to leave you. My session's begun. I'm not allowed to carry on. So, ganito na lang. Can you please talk to LVRMO and my office so that we can fill in the blanks? Dahil, as far as I'm concerned, kulang pa rin. Huwag pa rin maintindihan. So, yeah.
Yes.
In the meantime, can you have a word with them? Balik ako lang kayo, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair.